Hello, brother. So I just got done rewatching The Doctor's Wife, my favorite episode of Doctor Who, which is consequently written by Neil Gaiman. And the episode itself really kind of illustrates why Gaiman is such a celebrated fantasy writer. The dialogue is sharp, the characters are quirky but real, and the combination of both fantastical and real elements are seamless. I think the seamless interaction between the fantastical and real is really what sells Gaiman's style and makes him one of the most celebrated fantasy writers today. He seems to say that in our world, you don't need to search far and wide for an escape, but rather you can find one just in a second-hand store or a hole in the wall. His short fiction collections are probably his best, but his body of work expands through several diverse mediums. He's written several novels, two of which have already been turned into movies, Stardust and Coraline respectively, and two more are either have been or about to be turned into a TV series. The first of which is Neverwhere, and the second is American Gods. I'm going to recommend you start with American Gods. I think it's probably his best novel, and I think it provides an interesting commentary on the way we view faith systems today and how we deal with mortality. The story follows an ex-convict named Shadow as he attempts to understand a world where mythical beings are given power derived from how much we believe in them. If that doesn't suit your particular fancy, the latest work he published, The Ocean at the End of the Lane, is also very good, and in fact one of the best books I've read this year. It is an adult novel with a protagonist that is only 9 years old and concerns itself with, among other things, identity in one's voice, a confrontation with the past, and confronting one's fears. Alternatively, you could also read one of his short fiction collections. I think people generally just shy away from short fiction in general, which is a shame because usually an author's short fiction is his best fiction. The last thing I want to say about Neil Gaiman is that if I were to write fantasy, I think I would want to, at least in part, emulate his style. I think that's the way the fantasy genre should be going. But I'll leave you to make your decision on what you want to read there, and now we have to do some general housekeeping. So I have to come up with a punishment for you, since the Pirates got ousted in the NLDS, and it seems like you know nothing about baseball. So let's see, a punishment. I've been thinking a lot about Star Wars lately, and especially just like how miserable the prequel trilogy is. So I think for your punishment, you're gonna have to watch The Phantom Menace. Hello! But as your actual punishment, you'll have to make at least a 4-minute long video in which, in its entirety, you have to use the voice and mannerisms of Jar Jar Binks. I hope this drives you insane. Anyway, I have to go write a 2-page proposal on the rhetorical merit of Moneyball on Wednesday. I would just like to know what you're working on in school right now. We haven't talked about that in a while. I'll see you on Wednesday.